Hello, I'm Public Affairs Specialist Schlitt with the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary here on the main line, and I'd like to talk to you about Team Coast Guard. Team Coast Guard is made up of 4 components: the active duty, the reserve component, the civilian support staff, and the auxiliary. The U.S. Coast Guard is the second smallest of the United States Armed Services. It consists of approximately 42,000 dedicated men and women, plus an additional 8,000 reservists. And with that small force, they are commanded by the Commandant of the Coast Guard and the President of the United States, and we are charged with providing coastal warfighting capability overseas. In World War II, we were at Normandy in the Pacific, we were in Vietnam, and we were in Iraq. We conduct smuggling interdiction of drugs and humans via the sea and air operations. We conduct law enforcement operations in the U.S. waters and on the high seas, and we are the only armed services so authorized. We protect U.S. fisheries from foreign flagged vessels. We protect ports under the direction of the Department of Homeland Security, the parent agency of the Coast Guard, and we conduct America's Waterway Watch along with the auxiliary. We are responsible for the coastal and offshore environmental protection under the authority of the Clean Water Act, for instance, the Deepwater Horizon in 2010. Maintaining aids to navigation, lighthouses, buoys, and day markers. Maintaining and operating bridges over navigable waters. We have authority over all U.S. navigable waters, and we perform national and international icebreaking operations. We conduct commercial vessel accident investigations, inspections of commercial and recreational vessels. We issue maritime licenses and certificates. We create standards for maritime safety equipment. And the Coast Guard maintains and operates Rescue 21. It's a VHF radio coverage of all U.S. coastlines and the interior waterways. Location detection of any Mayday radio call on Channel 16 for 1 watt for 2-second transmission. If you can say, Mayday, Mayday, the Coast Guard can find you. And we conduct search and rescue and safety of mariners within the U.S. territorial and jurisdictional waters by sea and air. And we provide assistance to all other nations when search and rescue is requested. Now here on the main line, the nearest Coast Guard facilities are Sector Delaware Bay and Station Delaware Bay, both located in downtown Philadelphia. The United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, of which I am a proud member, is more than just a public education resource. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary was created by an act of Congress in 1939 as the U.S. Coast Guard Reserve. The name was changed to Auxiliary during World War II due to the formation of the Coast Guard Reserve component. We are known today as the volunteer arm of Team Coast Guard. The Auxiliary has approximately 21,000 members. We are a force multiplier to the Coast Guard, and we are included in the Coast Guard force total. And we are the only auxiliary force in the United States under direct control of the parent organization. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary is authorized by law and the Commandant to participate in all Coast Guard activities with the exception of direct law enforcement and warfighting activities. However, auxiliaries were and are assigned to Iraq and aboard cutters as translators on Coast Guard missions. They're on board cutters as chefs and cuttermen and pilots, and they serve aboard Coast Guard aircraft as aircrew. And the salary hasn't changed since 1939. There isn't any. We're all volunteer. We work for free. Under orders and in uniform, auxiliaries are employees of the United States government and the United States Coast Guard. The mainline flotilla, of which I'm a member, has approximately 21 members of the community who dedicate their time and extensive experience, and we are considered a value added to the community. But what do? Well, we have operations, and on the water, members use their own vessels equipped to U.S. Coast Guard standards and marked Coast Guard Auxiliary Patrol. They conduct safety patrols in local waters, rendering assistance to boaters and notifying Station Delaware Bay of any problems or possible violations. That's one of our boats in action. We also provide escorts and picket patrols for regattas, flotillas, and boat parades, and we monitor all aids to navigation in our area of responsibility. We conduct search and rescue operations under orders from the Coast Guard in areas of responsibility. And we work with the active duty Coast Guard on America's Waterway Watch. If you see something, say something. We have telecommunication operators called watchstanders, which maintain radio watch during patrols from auxiliary station radio rooms or home stations. They also monitor Marine Channel 16 when called by the U.S. Coast Guard and when Rescue 21 radio system is out for repairs and maintenance. We have air operations, and members use their own specially equipped aircraft to conduct safety patrols and search and rescue missions under orders from the Coast Guard. We perform marine pollution surveillance, as during the Deepwater Horizon, and we have special missions under Coast Guard orders. Marine safety and environmental protection. Members train to U.S. Coast Guard standards to conduct pollution response investigations, commercial vessel inspections, public outreach, commercial accidents, life raft inspections, and other missions as needed. The recreational boating safety. They conduct complimentary vessel safety examinations to recreational boaters to check for compliance with federal, state boating laws. Upon passing, the vessel is issued a vessel safety examination sticker valid for the year of issue, and it indicates that vessel is in full compliance with applicable laws and regulations. They also provide and maintain boating safety literature displays at program visitor partners throughout the flotilla area of responsibility. Public affairs. We prepare and issue articles and news releases. We provide specialists for speaking engagements. We provide equipment for demonstration purposes. We operate exhibits at public shows, and we go on television to tell our story. And of course, we provide various public education courses to the boating public. So that's Team Coast Guard, serving our country, serving our community, and saving lives. Are you interested in becoming a member? If so, contact 484-763-4171 or go to www.cgauxmainline.org. And thank you for your time, and Semper Paratus.